Here in this tutorial, we will learn about what is state management and context API. State management, like you have imagine, like imagine you are in a big family and everyone needs to know what's for dinner. If every person in the family has to ask the cook, let's say it's you, or like every time they want to know, it can get no, instead of you could just tell everyone at once what's for dinner, and they can all refer back to that information whenever they need it. In programming, especially in web development, we often have to manage the information or state that may that many parts of our application need to access. This is where state management comes in. Coming into the context API, we need to learn what is context API. Now, let's say you have a big house, your application with many rooms, different components of your app. The context API is like a loudspeaker system that lets you announce important informations like what's for dinner to all the rooms at once without having to go to into each room individually. Coming into the programmatically says what is context API is. The context API in React is a powerful features that allows you to share the data across your component tree without having to pass the props down manually at every level. This is especially useful for global data that many components need to access, such as authentication, themes, or language settings like these. This is what is context API. Next, we move to the what is the use of why use the context API, right? It avoid the prop drilling. In a typically setup, if you want to share the information from the top of your house, the main component, to a room on the bottom floor, a child component, you might have to pass the information through every room in between. This is called a prop drilling, and it can get a messy, right? So that is the reason we need to use the context API. The context API allows you to skip all those rooms and share the information directly. Next, in centralized information, it's just like a family meeting where everyone gets the same information at the same time. The context API allows you to keep your state in one place. This makes it easier to manage and update. Next one is easier to maintain. So that is the reason also we need to use the context API. Use the context API. If you need to change what's for dinner, update your state, you only have to do it in one place. Everyone else will automatically know the new information without you have having to repeat yourself, like, right? So these are all the why we use the context API. Avoid a prop drilling and centralized information, easier maintenance. These are all the reasons. Next, we move on to the how does it works. First, we need to create a context. Like we need to set up a context, which is like setting up your loudspeaker system, like that. This is where you define what information you want to share. Next one is provide the context. You wrap your components, rooms in a provider, which is like turning on the loudspeaker. This makes the information available to all the components inside. Next one is consume the context. Any component that needs the information can simply listen to the loudspeaker and get the latest update. This is all about how does it works. Context API works.